going to be rough going back in your memory banks back to last Friday. But we were talking about two different things. We were talking about identities, and then we did inverses. Can somebody tell me what the identity is?
It's like you have, is it the one where you have the first half and then you put the 1 0 0 1 like if it was a 4? That's how you find the inverse, but the identity, and that's close enough. You're with me. The identity is the 1 0 0 1. If it's a 2 by 2 and if it's a 3 by 3, it's going to look like that. Okay? But to find the inverse, yes, that's what we did. We did the matrix and then the identity and our REF it, which flips your identity over to the other side and then gives you the inverse. Is that all ringing bells? I see some head shaking, yes. Yes, y'all good with those? Okay. Then, what we're going to do is do a paper, use it to actually solve a system of equations. Okay, so when you're doing the inverse to solve the system, move that out of the way. Okay, basically you make it into 3 different matrices. Okay, the A matrix is your coefficients. Okay, your B matrix are the variables. And your C matrices are your constants or totals. Oops, sorry, it helps if I have it up there. Okay, so if I rewrite here, I'm going to have 1, 1, and 0. Because I'm not worrying about the 3 yet, I'm just writing the coefficient part. Okay, so my second line is going to be negative 1, 3, and 4. And then my third is going to be 0, 4, and 3. Okay, we're going to call it x. X is for my coefficients, so I have x, y, and z. And then b are my constants, so I have 3, negative 3, and then 2.
So are we changing like what's this narration?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, I just picked names, but whatever, as long as you can follow it along, it doesn't really matter. Now this would be the B. If I stay with the same. Okay? All right, so the second step is we have to find the inverse. How do we find the inverse? Calculator, but I have a 3 by 3, and so I'm going to have 4, 0, 4, 3. So that means I have to add to it my blah, 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 identity, sorry. Woo. So I have 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 0, 1.
How do you get the identity?
It just, if it's a 2 by 2, it's this one. If it's a 2 by 3, it's this one. Okay? Then how do I find the inverse? What do I plug and chug in the calculator? Which?
REF. RREF. Absolutely. So I hit my matrix and alpha B. Oops, go to math, alpha B. And then my matrix is going to be a 3 by 6. So I have 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, negative 1, 3, 4, 1, 1. All right. And remember how we flip-flopped it? So that means, in fact, I think I want to put it into fractions. So my inverse becomes 7/4, 3/4, negative 1, negative 3/4, negative 3/4, 1, and then 1, 1, negative 1. Good? Okay, the next step is to make an equation using your AXB. So I'm going to have 1, 1, 0, negative 1, 3, and 4. Whoops, 0, 4, 3. Okay, so I use my A matrix. I set it next to my XYZ matrix. Sorry, the pumpkin keeps sticking on me. And I set it equal to the 3, negative 3, 2. Right? See, it's getting out. It's melting. But that's why I kept sticking it, because it was melting onto the paper.
What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
My melting pumpkin?
What is it moving?
I don't know, melty stuff. I don't know what it feels like silly putty, but it melts, so I don't know. All right, now my last step is that we're going to multiply each side by the inverse. Okay, and instead of copying all those down, I'm just going to put it there, because you're going to just do that in the calculator. Are you with me on that? Okay, so that means I have a matrix that is a 3 by 3, which is 7/4, 3/4, negative 1, negative 3/4, negative 3/4, 1, 1, 1, and negative 1. And I'm timesing it by my original, which would be 1, 1, 0, negative 1, 3, 4, 0, 4, and 3. Now, what do you think I'm going to get as my answer? When I multiply, because I'm going to multiply these two together, and I'm going to get a matrix back, what do you think what's my answer going to look like?
3, negative 3, 2.
Well, think about, what am I multiplying? I'm multiplying one matrix by the inverse.
1.
Yeah. We're going to get the identity back.
That's cool.
Okay? Because if you think of this as an equation, what does that mean I have on this side of the equation now?
X equals 1.
No, 1x equal to. Now, what you do to one side of an equation by multiplying by the inverse, you got to do to the other side of the equation. So, if I have to say, oh, I have a 3-row by 1 row, and that is a 3, -3, and 2. And I'm timesing that by, a 3 by 3, because now I want to put the identity on the other side. Are you with me? Okay, so 7 divided by 4, 3 divided by 4, -1, -3 divided by 4, -3 divided by 4, 1, 1, 1, -1. Oh, what happened? Why did that not work?
Because it didn't match, that's what mismatched.
Yes, but why?
Because the other thing is only like one row or one column.
Yeah, remember when we're doing multiplication, what was the rule?
Equal.
So, no,
No?
that was adding. But
To be
if you have a 1 by, or a 3 by 1,
That's
and
the
this
other
is
one.
a 3 by 3, the insides had to match. Okay? I can still multiply it though. How can I still multiply this? What if I do the inverse times A, or I'm sorry, it's B? Because now I get a 3 by 3 times a 3 by 1. Now they match. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? So all you gotta do is, it's the order of which you put it in is going to matter. All right, so now I can I copy? Oh, I want. No, a second, let me. All right. So now when I enter it, and times it by I'm not going to get the error code. Okay, and so my answer then is 1, 2, -2. So if you look at this line by line, now my equation says, hey, 1x is equal to 1. And 1y is equal to 2, and 1z is equal to -2. Does that make sense? Okay, so what you'll need to do, when you're rewriting this into equation, write the equation as your inverse. Is equal to your inverse times b. If you set your equation up like that, you won't have the dimension mismatch. And then it's literally just a matter of plugging and chugging into the calculator.
So you do the inverse first. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Instead of it after.
Well, you gotta find the inverse, but that's just a matter of putting it in the calculator. So I always do that, and then as I'm writing my inverse down, I just set up my equation then.
while you're writing it.
Does that make sense? Yeah? All right, let's practice some of these then.